Now, here for you, this is News Views, a newscast for Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, and the world. This is Bill Ratner speaking. And now, Michael Badger.
Hello, welcome to News View. I am Michael Badger, and the top story tonight: Urbana High School has won for the second year in a row, they've achieved the AP Honor Roll. This is a list fewer than 400 school districts, according to WCIA News. And they also say that there are less than 30 districts in the state of Illinois on the list. University High School also made the honor roll this year. That's the AP Honor Roll. And in a little change of pace, some sports news. According to KenyonCollegian.com, the Kenyon Club Squash team has trounced the Illini's squash team, according to Nina Zimmerman. They say that the squash team ranked 35th in the nation, I think this year. And they say that the first action of the season this past weekend was beating two branches of the University of Illinois in a round-robin tournament this weekend. And the Kenyon Athletic Centers have pristine courts, they say. So they beat the U of I at squash over the weekend. And the Washington Times says that the White House has been subpoenaed over Solyndra documents. And they say congressional Republicans Thursday authorized their second subpoena, demanding White House documents related to the solar technology company Solyndra. By a 14-9 party line vote, the Energy and Commerce Committee's investigative subcommittee authorized issuing a subpoena for the White House documents related to Solyndra, which received renewable energy loan guarantees under Obama's stimulus program. This request could include details of the president's own travel and communications. Democrats say it's unprecedented to subpoena documents from the president's executive office, but Republicans said they've run out of patience with the White House stalling, quote unquote. And our next story, the peaceful Occupy Wall Street protests in Oakland, California have degenerated into chaos, according to the Associated Press. In Oakland, California, the demonstration began expanding the political and economic influence of the Occupy Wall Street movement, ended with a police riot, police in riot gear arresting dozens of protesters who were marching through the downtown to break down a vacant building, shattering windows and spraying graffiti and setting fires all along the way. A protester said, quote, "We go from having a peaceful movement to now just chaos." This was Monique Agnew, age 40, who said that. And the movement of protesters challenging the world's economic systems and distribution of wealth has gained momentum in recent weeks, capturing the world's attention by shutting down one of the nation's busiest shipping ports, and now they have fires, bonfires, and broken glass, and they say smaller scale demonstrations have been staged in New York, Philadelphia, and LA, along with other places. And like I said a week or 2 or 3 ago, there was a small group of protesters in Champaign and at the University of Illinois that came later. But I know many people have compared this to the Tea Parties after criticizing them, and then they say this is just like them, and that doesn't seem to be the case. In other news, according to Politico.com, the White House has fact-checked the White House after Mr. Carney said, quote, "Well, I believe the phrase from the Bible is, quote, the Lord helps those who help themselves, quote, unquote, and, quote, I think that the point the president is making is that we will have it within our capacity to do the things to help the American people." Unfortunately, this common phrase actually does not appear in the Bible, according to a White House official transcript that came out. Wasn't this a quote by Benjamin Franklin and not a Bible quote? I'm not sure. Well, I think we'll take our first break after I give you the email address. You can email me at newsview@email.com. Stay tuned for the rest of Newsview after this break. Welcome back to Newsview. I'm Michael Badger, your anchorman here, coming to you pre-recorded from Urbana, Illinois, at the studios of Urbana Public Television in downtown Urbana. And the next story, the next news item is hotel guests are being recruited for Homeland Security TV spots, according to USA Today. And USA Today, travel.usatoday.com, that's travel.usatoday.com. The Department of Homeland Security is now recruiting hotel guests to do TV spots against terrorism. And they say that this started today, and this happened in 1.2 million hotel television sets in Marriott, Hilton, Sheraton, Holiday Inn, and other hotels in the U.S. will show a short public service announcement from the Department of Homeland Security. The 15-second spot encourages viewers to be vigilant, vigilant? No, not vigilant. That's not a word. Vigilant. Is that a word? Don't they mean diligent? Well, anyway, maybe vigilant is vigilant? Maybe that is a word. I don't know. But, well, they're telling these people in this TV spot at the hotels from the Homeland Security Department to call law enforcement if they witness something suspicious during their travels. During this PSA, which starts with a woman exiting a yellow taxi from the front of a train station, a narrator says, quote, "Maybe you see something suspicious. Can you be sure? If you see something, say something to authorities." This PSA, which will be interspersed with other messages on the welcome screens at these hotels, will be the same in all 5,400 hotels that LodgeNet serves. I guess LodgeNet is a TV service for hotels, and this PSA message ends by telling viewers to contact quote-unquote local authorities. And Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano says that reaching the quote millions of guests and stay in the hotel and motel each year is a significant step to engaging the full range of partners in their Homeland Security efforts. The federal government gained access to the hotel TV sets by forming a partnership with the hotel industry's largest association, which is the American Hotel and Lodging Association, which connected with the Department of Homeland Security and LodgeNet, which is the industry's largest TV content provider. By entering hotels at a time when the hospitality industry is on the rebound, the government has the power to tap a growing captive audience. And in other news, a third accuser has emerged in the Herman Cain soap opera, you might call it. Jack Gillum and Stephen Ohlmacher of the Associated Press say presidential candidate Herman Cain faces accusations from a third woman this time who had considered filing a complaint against him over a suggestive remarks and gestures. These allegations are similar to the accusations of unwanted behavior that led to separate settlements in the late 90s with two other women that went on to pursue successful careers after leaving the organization Cain once headed. These latest allegations come from a woman who said in the interviews with the Associated Press that Cain was aggressive and inappropriate with her, even extending a private invitation to his corporate apartment when she worked with him at the National Restaurant Association. The woman said Cain's behavior occurred at the same time as two co-workers who had settled separate harassment complaints against him while he was leading the association. And for those two women, the focus of an intensifying scrutiny, the focus of, and I don't think Anne should be there. Maybe it should be, but an intensifying scrutiny after the settlements became public, moved on professionally and personally after that time at the Restaurant Association. She said his actions were, quote, inappropriate and made me feel uncomfortable, unquote. The Associated Press confirmed that the employee worked at the Restaurant Association with Cain during his time there, that she had no party affiliation in her voter registration in the past decade, and that she had not identified as a donor in federal campaigns or local political campaigns. Records also show she was registered as a Democrat at one point previously. Cain spokesman J.D. Gordon said, quote, Mr. Cain has said over the past 2 days at public events that we could see other baseless allegations made against him as this appalling smear campaign continues, unquote. Now, I'm going to stop right there because the Cain camp has come out and blamed the Rick Perry supporters, and but I think Perry has denied, and I find it very interesting that Herman Cain isn't making a whole lot of sense here in some ways, but in other ways he is. But if you're the front runner in a presidential election, you're bound to have something come up. I mean, true or not, obviously these women probably really did feel harassed about something he said to each of them. I don't know. I don't know Herman Cain. I don't know the women. But there are lots of reports about what's been going on. And in other news, a saber-toothed squirrel fossil has been found in Argentina. That, according to the Associated Press. And scientists say they found the fossil, which is a previously unknown fossil of a saber-toothed squirrel-like creature in Argentina. And the fossil evidence shows that Cronopio dentacatus had extremely long teeth and a narrow snout and large eye sockets, meaning it probably moved around at night to be able to survive among huge carnivorous beasts in the late Cretaceous or Cretaceous period. In fact, the paleontologists involved say that the little creature was not all that different from the prehistoric squirrel in the animated movie Ice Age, or in the animated movies in the Ice Age series. Now, the discovery was published in Thursday's edition of the science journal Nature. And let's see, in other news, in Champaign, Illinois, according to Ivanhoe Newswire, the hurricane season ends November 30th. So we aren't out of danger in this country yet for this year. There have been 86 tropical storms in November, 57 named hurricanes, and 5 of them have hit the U.S. Meteorologists are good at forecasting the potential path, but for forecasting the strength, well, that still needs work, they say. But now they're going to tell us how new technology can help predict how strong a storm will become. Hurricane Irene kicked off the season this year and was the first storm to hit the U.S. this year, of hurricanes, that is. Irene's path and impact were pretty accurate. They were pretty accurately forecasted, I guess. But back in 2004, Hurricane Charley started out as a Category 1, which is a minimal threat, but within just 24 hours it turned into a Category 3 storm with winds up to 130 miles per hour, catching many people off guard. And Stephen Nesbitt, PhD, who is a meteorologist at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, told Ivanhoe, quote, "It went into the transition into a Category 3 storm before people could really be adequately evacuated. The warnings did not provide enough warning, and a lot of people, as a result, had to weather the storm." And when a storm suddenly transforms into a much stronger hurricane, then that's a problem, isn't it? I'm not quite sure what the rest they say, but Stephen Nesbitt is assistant professor at the Department of Atmospheric Sciences here at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. And in other news, the Nook versus Kindle Touch e-reader comparisons and Kindle Fire review reveals that everything a person needs to know about ebook readers is here. According to Kevin Adams, creator of BestReadReaderReviews.net, says that the Kindle Touch from Amazon and the Nook Touch from Barnes & Noble are two very popular e-readers today, and both have been around for a while and both have upsides and downsides. In a recent comparison they published, they provide an unbiased look at them, both to make your decision of which one to pick easier. They have categorized the various features of the two as to make it effortless for you to navigate the way through the review. In the first one, you should pay attention to the Kindle Touch review, you can look that up, or you can call Kevin Adams at 217-344-6395, and that's from emailwire.com. You can look them up. And in Wheaton, Illinois, according to the Chicago Tribune, triblocal.com, Wheaton detectives are going to be honored for outstanding work after reporting a 1976 homicide investigation that landed a murderer in jail for life. Edward Fanning and Andrew Euler, I think that's how you pronounce it, are receiving the Law Enforcement Excellence Award from the Chicago Crime Commission, which is a nonprofit group that partners with community agencies and resources to prevent crime. This award that will be presented at dinner that was presented at dinner yesterday, or probably was, comes after the pair reopened the 1976 slaying death of Darlene Stack in Wheaton, Illinois. Using modern DNA technology, police were able to match Michael Whitney, a longtime suspect in the case, to what he left on the sheets at a boarding house where Stack was raped and killed. Police then re-interviewed the woman who was living with Whitney in 1976. In the past, she had provided an alibi for Whitney, but the girlfriend switched stories and said Whitney and a friend had come back to their room after a night of drinking. She said, disrobed and went upstairs to Stack's room. September of this year, Whitney was sentenced to life in prison for the murder. They're honored that both detectives are receiving this award, said Wheaton Deputy Chief Tom Melanie. They were instrumental in completing the investigation, quote unquote, and the DuPage County State's Assistant State Robert Girari will also be honored, or was honored, for the work on that case. And that does it for tonight. Stay tuned for the weather after this break. And I'm Michael Badger, and have a good night. I'm Michael Badger with your NewsView weather forecast. For Friday night, mostly clear skies with a low of 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Saturday, sunny skies with a high temperature of 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Saturday night, partly cloudy skies and 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Sunday, a 62 degree Fahrenheit day, high with partly cloudy and windy conditions. And for your Sunday night in Champaign-Urbana and Central Illinois areas, the low will be 48 degrees Fahrenheit, around there, and mostly cloudy with a chance of rain, and 48 Sunday night. I'm Michael Badger. Thanks for watching NewsView.
Help the Arbor Day Foundation replant our national forests.